You were in Derry Girls briefly, not briefly, but you were in Derry Girls as well, which was, I would put it there with the likes of Father Ted. It's timeless.
Iconic show.
Iconic show. How was that for you?
I think when you see Dairy Girls and ice cream shop in The Simpsons, that's when you know you've made it.
Yeah, very much so. Yeah.
But I would go to kind of various Sky events for Brassic to promote Brassic, and the wonderful producer Liz Lewin was there always because she worked at Sky, and I would just kind of badger her and say, please can I come into Derry Girls, please can I have a part in Derry Girls. We actually had a plumber in our house fixing the toilets, and my agent rang me and said, listen, they'd love you to play the plumber in Derry Girls. And so, I mean,
well, while you're there,
I literally went over and I said, any tips? Yeah, basically.
Virgin Radio.
I'm delighted to welcome to the top of the tower a great fella who I bumped into in a pub. I mean, that's not why you're here. He's here because he's he stars in things like Being Human and Brassic in The Split, but now he is Jim Bergerac. It's iconic, really. It's the latest reboot of the crime drama Bergerac. Welcome to the top of the tower, Damien Maloney. Nice to see you.
And to you, yeah.
You are from what part of the world originally?
From North Kildare.
North Kildare?
Yeah.
Come on, give me a more specific.
Johnstown Bridge.
Yeah, okay. Now the actual now we're on the bridge, which is
very close to Enfield.
Good. Because when you watch Bergerac, as I was watching in the last day or two, you would have not the first inclination of that because your accent is so good.
Oh wow!
So talk to me about that. How do you go from the soft Irish tea, the Kildare factor to this whole other world?
Well, yeah. I mean, I guess I've been living in London since 2008, so a long time of kind of being surrounded by that accent.
Yes.
And actually, lots of the jobs that I've done require different accents. Specifically, Brassic, which is a show that I did on Sky, which was a really difficult accent to kind of get access to.
Was it really hard to get into that?
And I was really worried about it.
Yeah.
In fact, I didn't really sleep before the show came out. I was like, this is it, my career's over. But we spent so much time kind of around Joe Gilgan, and that was the accent we were trying to copy. That's how I learn accents, to kind of just absorb the sounds of the people.
You're sponging and taking it all in. So we'll talk about that in a moment as well, but I want to get to Bergerac because this is the show that I was walking along Piccadilly Circus the last day or two, and you're there up in glorious Technicolor, like in Times Square, but in London. And, I just felt I don't know why I felt proud. I don't we don't know each other necessarily. No, a little bit. We'll talk about that a little later on too. But I was happy for you, for the show. What's it like? You've seen it, seeing this on the big screen up there.
Yeah, I brought my family down to see it, which was a really proud moment.
How old are your kids?
5 and 8.
Oh, so what do they think of it?
They just we just kind of stood there, almost like the family Von Trapp, just staring up at the lights and kind of not quite believing it.
Yeah.
And I actually, a couple of weeks before, I was walking through Piccadilly Circus with some friends, and I kind of, just in the back of my head, I was like, oh my God, could you imagine if Bergerac ever went up there? And they all, said, you're dreaming. There's no way. And then finally, when the channel got in touch, UKTV, and said, it's happening. It's just one of those kind of pinch me moments.
Yeah.
And then loads and loads of selfies from pals and just
me.
sending, and you, amazing.
On
yeah.
Instagram.
Yeah.
I couldn't resist. I said, here, look at this over my shoulder. Here's Damien, he's our guest tomorrow. So I was delighted to share that with everybody. But more importantly, the show itself. Why don't you tell everyone? Because those of a certain vintage know what Bergerac was, and those of a new vintage want to know what Bergerac is.
Okay, so obviously he's a wonderful renegade maverick detective, situated on the island of Jersey, the beautiful island of Jersey. And Bergerac was a massive TV series in the 80s. It ran for 10 years with John Nettles playing Bergerac. And so this is a kind of a reimagined version, and our version, Jim, is recently bereaved, and he's kind of gone to the bottle, I guess.
Yeah.
And his relationships around him, his daughter, his mother-in-law, they've all kind of collapsed.
Zoe Wanamaker.
Zoe Wanamaker's playing my meddling mother-in-law.
Yeah. This is the alliteration. I love it.
The icon, Zoe Wanamaker.
Sure.
And so he kind of goes back to work basically to convince his family that he's back on the straight and narrow. Yeah. And of course he's not. And so it's this wonderful kind of family drama mixed in with this really thrilling, exciting whodunit.
Yeah, congratulations. I mean, it's a great success, and you're brilliant in it. I know, I mean it, Damien. You really are superb. They chose so wisely, and they probably had plenty of choices, but they made the right one here. And there you are. And I was wondering, as I was saying to you before we came on air, How much research did you have to do, to put in to get that hangover right? Because you do look pretty, like a man who needs more sleep.
Well,
sometimes.
yeah. Well, lots of my friends came to the house to watch the first episode.
Yes.
And as Berzerk is kind of opening up the hip
flask.
flask, I could hear one of my mates going, "No acting required," which was lovely.
That's what friends are for.
Yeah,
Damien.
yeah. Oh, thank you. Specifically the look, I got a lot of fake tan because he's supposed to live on the island in this Kildare skin and isn't kind of used to all that sun.
What did you do? I've got 2 grown-up daughters. What did you do for fake tan? Was it spray tan or was it applied with a glove?
No, it was often kind of just mixed in with the moisturizer in the morning, which I've never said out loud before. But they never did any makeup on my eyes.
Oh, for the look of exhaustion.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, okay.
And so then I went and read about bereavement, and I spoke to people about AA and stuff.
Did you?
And then really, I listen. I'm a massive rugby fan.
Yeah.
I'm not a very good rugby player.
No, but you're a very good observer of the game, like myself.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, so big day on Saturday. We can talk about that in a few minutes.
Huge.
Yeah. Okay, go on.
And so, but Bergerac speaks to the other police team.
Yeah.
Motivating them and saying, you go and do that, you check forensics, you do fingerprints. And I was approaching these scenes and I was like, I've never done that before. How do I? And I suddenly was like, this is a team talk.
That's right.
This is a team talk in a dressing room. And I just went and watched loads of videos of Brian O'Driscoll.
Did you?
Yeah.
Oh, that's so funny. He'd love to hear that.
Irish dressing room talks and the Lions, the chats he did to the Lions. I was like, because that's what it is, you go, you mark him, you tackle him, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And so that was a really nice way to find something that I'm really passionate about and kind of put it into the scene.
That's great. That is a great yarn. That makes perfect sense, because Christy Moore plays for the team sometimes before they go out as a motivation. But I think if you're Bergerac, you don't need Christy banging out Spancel Hill. You need something a bit more Driscollian, which is what you channeled.
Also the Put 'Em Under Pressure Jack Charlton song.
Yes,
That's a great one.
Yes. Okay, Damien Maloney, our wonderful guest today. He's the star of Bergerac, which episode 2 airing tomorrow on You and Drama. All episodes streaming now on You. You will love it. If an inanimate object could get an award for just being there, I think Jersey should get one for looking so beautiful. The tourist board must love you.
Wow. Have you been to Jersey?
Never been to Jersey.
Oh my God, go. I've been 3 times since we finished filming.
Since you finished?
Yeah, I just love it.
Did you bring the family over?
Yeah, brought the family for the shoot, which was great for the summer holidays, and then also we went back in January. And I have to say, the natural beauty is so astonishing.
Yeah.
That it's as beautiful in January as it is in August.
Lovely.
It's obviously freezing in January, but so brisk and fresh and just.
Well, whoever was the minister for drones on Bergerac got their money's worth because it just looks so beautiful.
Doesn't it look amazing? Yeah. And like you say, it's a character in the show.
It really is. Now we met in the pub in Soho, the Devonshire. You were having dinner with we mentioned Dermot O'Leary and Dee, his lovely wife, and you were there with your partner. I take it, and we crossed paths and said, we must meet up at least. Come on the show someday. And here we are between jigs and reels. We got there. So you're friendly with Dermot's wife, is that right?
Yes, I worked with Dee Copang O'Leary on The Split. Dee and Abby Morgan directed the 3rd series of The Split.
She's a great talent in her own right. Because she's not front of camera, she doesn't get quite the same.
Of course,
look,
but Dee has directed The Split, Bridgerton, Rivals, which is one of my favourite TV shows.
Wasn't that a hoot? Wasn't that a hoot? Victoria Smurfit.
Incredible.
Aidan
Turner.
Yeah. God, there's a season 2 being made of that.
Yeah, they're prepping
Get
season
in
2.
there.
I would love to.
Somebody text Victoria Smurfit immediately and say, we got another one. Get him in. You'd be great in that.
I'd play anything in that.
You'd be great in that. Okay, well, we'll have to get you in touch. I'm like Cupid for TV. It'd be great if something happened there, which is great. The director of Bergerac Notice was a guy who did Peaky Blinders at one stage, Colin McCarthy.
Yeah.
So he's obviously really good too.
Peaky Blinders, Sherlock, Ripper Street. Some of the biggest TV shows of the last 10 years.
You were in Ripper Street.
Yes, was in Ripper Street. Never crossed paths with
him,
with Colin.
Yeah.
But spent 8 months in Dublin.
Amazing.
In 2013.
In and around Dublin Castle, I think.
And Clancy Barracks.
Oh, beautiful.
Which is now kind of lovely apartments now. But when we were there,
it was
this Victorian street made of plasterboard, and I remember bringing friends to visit the set and knocking on the fake doors and the fake walls. Amazing.
It's so good. Those set designers are extraordinary. And you were in Derry Girls briefly, not briefly, but you're in Derry Girls as well, which has become. I would put it there with the likes of Father Ted. It's timeless,
iconic show.
Iconic show. How was that for you?
I think when you see Dairy Girls and Ice Cream Shop in The Simpsons, that's when you know you've made it.
Yeah, very much so. Yeah.
And I'm really lucky. I got to work with Lisa McGee, the writer of Dairy Girls, on my very first TV job, Being Human.
I didn't know she did that.
She basically wrote the introduction to my character, that whole episode.
Yeah.
And so we've always kind of, we've stayed in touch, obviously, ever since Derry Girls. But I would go to kind of various Sky events for Brassic to promote Brassic, and the wonderful producer Liz Lewin was there always because she worked at Sky, and I would just kind of badger her and say, please can I come into Derry Girls, please can I have a part in Derry Girls. And we actually had a plumber in our house fixing the toilet
Here in London.
And my agent rang me and said, listen, they'd love you to play the plumber in Derry Girls. And so, I mean...
Well, while you're there...
I literally went over and I said, any tips? Yeah, basically.
You know, one of my favourite programmes last year was Say Nothing. And of all that, and this is kind of meta now because I interviewed the guy you played a few times down through the years in Say Nothing. So do you want to put that in context then?
Yeah, I played Stephen Ray in Say Nothing, which was the actor Stephen Ray, which was a wonderful honour really, and just a wonderful honour I think to be part of that show. Yeah. Because I think it's really important, and obviously it's been hugely successful around the world. But it felt like very serious work when we were there.
It's a funny show, isn't it, Damien? Once it was kind of, and that's not the right word, but it was entertaining is probably the wrong word, but compelling is definitely a better word. And at the same time, it was educational. And I think it was probably a good primer for a certain generation to see it and go, okay, so now I get a rough idea of how awful or
exactly. And the amount of people that I spoke to who went away then and read the book, and kind of delved deeper into it. But what I thought was really funny, I as soon as Bergerac finished, which was kind of 16 solid weeks of hard work, I went to New York just for 3 days and just to kind of get my head back and walked around Central Park. And
just for a trip?
Just for a trip, just for 3 days.
Why not?
And there was an ad for Say Nothing on the TV, but it was subtitled. I couldn't believe it. Yeah.
Because they say nothing. What's that?
Basically, I think to help them with the accent. I guess. I presume. Yeah.
Because it's just probably a little too strong or whatever.
Perhaps. Yeah.
Are you working on anything at the moment that you can tell us about?
Yeah, I'm going to Malta tomorrow. To do something for BBC.
Well, I'm glad we got you just in time for that. Yeah. And then, of course, Rivals now, as a result of this conversation,
Fingers
will be happening.
Crossed.
Listen, you're terrific. It's really good to see you. I'll see you for a pint or maybe back here when you're telling us about Rivals Season 2. But in the meantime, it's all about Bergerac. Congratulations, Damien. You're just doing terrifically. Damien Maloney, star of Bergerac, as I say, streaming now on You. Good luck and thanks for being here.
Thanks a million.